Alrighty, welcome back. We're going to be going through our ISO parts again. All right, so like normal, all right, we went through and already figured out all of our measurements. We used our construction boxes to box everything out, so that way we're ready to go. I've already kind of pre-thought out a strategy that I wanted to use, so I can go through this very quickly and efficiently. So let's go ahead and start by sharing my screen, and I'll open up Inventor here, and I already have a new part already started here. We're going to start on part 13. And just like we've been doing, I'm going to start a new 2D sketch, XY plane, 2-point rectangle on the origin, start up in the positive X, positive Y direction. And I'm going to start this one with a 9, tab 2, enter, home. All right. And so I'm going to make this sort of L shape first, and then I'm going to extrude it and then do it sort of an additive method here. So I'm going to grab this 2-point rectangle again. I'm going to start here. All right. So we're looking at 2, tab 5. Yeah, 5, enter, home. And there we go. So now we have the general blocks we need to cut out what we want. So we can finish that sketch, home, and then extrude 1, 2. And the distance on our extrusion is going to be 4. 4. Okay, so now we have a nice little basis here for what we want. So let's see. Okay, that looks right. Next, so what do I want to do next? Let's see. We have a... Let's start over here, actually. I'm looking at my notes. Sorry about that. I'm going to put a new sketch. Home key. And I'm going to put... I'm going to go with these points. Let's go with center points. I haven't shown you that yet. So I need to find out where I can use points. Now, a point I can just attach things to. So if you look over here, there's the center point. All right. And I want to place down my center points. Okay. Center points. There's my point, sorry. That just gives you the center points of lines. So I want to line up 2 points. All right, and they're going to be aligned with the centers, something like that. And you can't really see them. They're very, very light. But they're there. I'm going to dimension from here to that point, and then give myself a dimension of the center point of that itself, which is going to be 2. And then the distance to the next point there is 2 as well. So I can dimension from here to here, 2. Again, it just gets my spacing correct, and I already know that it's in the center of this. So I can get my 2 circles. 1 that has a diameter of 1. Another one here. 1. All right. Oh wait, I haven't hit escape a few times. The sorry about that. The radius is 1, not the diameter. That's what happens when you speed through your notes. Okay. So let's see, the diameter of those is 2. And this distance is actually 3. There we go. That's better. That's better. Alrighty. So I'm going to finish this sketch, and I'm going to go ahead and extrude that. And then cut. Always double check your measurements and make sure you can read your own notes. That's actually pretty helpful if you can read your own notes. All right. So let's take a look at what we have here. I'm going to put a new sketch, and I'm going to cut out this slot. So I showed you the slot tool already, but instead I'm going to show you a different method here. So there's the center point of that line. Make sure I'm on that center point. And I'm going to draw another circle with a diameter of 2. I'm going to dimension this distance from here to the top, and that's going to be a distance of 2. All right. Then once I have that, I want to come all the way here. So I'm at a tangent point even with the center point of my circle, and I just want to come straight up. Do the same thing here. Start even, tangent, even with the center point of that circle. all right, and come straight up till that meets. All right, and then just to kind of close off geometry here, I'm just going to bring a line up and over. And just to ensure, I'm going to use my trim tool and trim this. So now I should have, unless I messed up, closed geometry there of this little half slot that I can cut out. Oh, good. It's letting me do it. All right, so there's all of our cutouts. All right. So next, we just have to look at our fillets. So we have fillets here, and we have to fillet our edges. And just like the other ones here, the fillets go all the way around. So this fillet is 2. And then I believe the fillet up top is only 1, actually. So there's 2. And this fillet is 2. Okay, it's still... Yep, this fillet's 2 as well, it looks like. Right, is it? Let's see, I'm trying to calculate. That goes down... It looks closer to 1.5. That's close enough. We'll say it's 2. All right. I think it might be like 1 or 1.5, but it's really hard to tell what that fillet is. So I didn't actually take notes on it. So just look, that's my paper. I can't tell. So we'll let that go. We'll call it 2 and just fillet everything. So that one will be done. Again, save your part. You could always modify it later if you want. Generally, the fillets, by the way, when we start building actual parts or products or doing things for the 3D printer, usually you have like sharp corners like around this edge, and you use your little fillet just to come in just that little bit and say maybe like 1/4 of an inch, or sometimes just 50,000ths of an inch, just to make sure your edges aren't sharp. So when we start getting to 3D printing, you're going to hear me talk a little bit more about that kind of stuff. But anyway, that should have given you enough time to save that and move on to the next part here. So go ahead, new part. And this one, all right, 2D sketch, XY plane, rectangle, start on the orient, positive X, positive Y, 12, tab, 2, enter. Home. All right. And now we have this here, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 4x4, that's what I thought. Dragging over here, 4, tab, 4, enter. Yeah. And then what we have now, so we're going to finish that sketch. Okay. And then, right, hold on 1 second. I'm actually recording lessons, so. All right, sorry about that. So here we go. Sorry for that. So that happens when you work in a school. All right, so here we go. I'm going to go in now, and I want to extrude my geometry here. All right, and what are we extruding this? Threw me off there. 4. Okay. So we have this. There's something cool we can do here as well, but I'll show you in a minute. You know what? I'll show you right now. I'm just going to grab my fillet and the radius here, and I'm going to set my radius to 2. And I want to adjust all of this outside geometry to start with. And check this out. Since I have a square up here, all right, look what happens when I do this. Oh, I just filled the whole thing out. Look at that. All I did was set my radius to 2 and filled it everything. All right. Now if I come put a new sketch up here, okay, and I can go to the center of this circle. This circle here has a diameter of 2. All right, and that gets extrude, cut, and I can't tell how far it goes, so I'll just say to next. I'll pretend it goes all the way through. You can't really tell on the drawing sheet itself. Next, I'm going to put a new sketch here, and I'm just going to cut a slot. Hit the home key so I can see. Underneath this rectangle flyout, you'll see the center point to center point slot. And once I come over and touch this edge, this center point is given to me. All right, so you see that. So I can always do it like that, but that doesn't matter as much. The distance between my center points here is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. And now it's going to ask me for a diameter, which is 2. and I can hit enter. I happen to know that the center points of this slot and this edge should be concentric. So there's a concentric constraint right here where I can set this and this to concentric, just so it doesn't move in case I missed it. So I don't have to worry about measurements there. And now I can extrude, cut to next. Okay, there we go. And I cut that whole thing out. Pretty cool, right? So there's that one. Pretty simple. It's a lot easier than trying to draw circles and connect everything, and I just used fillet to get my general shape. I'm going to do that for the next ones as well, because it's a pretty nifty thing to do. So go ahead and save it, and I can start another one here. I'm going to grab a new part file, new 2D sketch, XY plane. Okay. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? I don't know. It's under here, because you use slot last. So your 2-point rectangle's here. I'm going to start at the origin. Okay, I'm going to slide up and over here in this direction. This time, I'm going to go 10, tab, 1, enter, home. So I'm just going to kind of make a little plate here. That's all. And I'm going to finish this sketch, hit the home key, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to extrude this a distance of 6. And you're going to see I'm going to kind of get the base plate hit home for this drawing. In the corner of this drawing, okay, I'm going to go here, new sketch, home. So starting at this corner now, all I need to do is make something that looks like this, just a simple rectangle. And this rectangle is going to be 4, tab, 2, enter. I'm going to show you how else we can use fill. It's pretty nifty. And let's extrude that up to the top there. And up to the top of that one is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6. Call that 6 again. Just double checking. Now I'm going to do some magic with this fillet, which is kind of cool. So I'm going to fill it again. I'm going to set my fillet to 2. And watch what happens when we do outside, outside, but also now the inside. Pretty nifty, right? So that worked out pretty well. So now you can just fillet everything just like that. And that's how we can get that more complex shape that we want. Click OK. I can tell because there are center points, and it looks like that the center points of the fillet and these drilled holes should be the same. So let's set this to 1.5 and set up our fillets for here and here as well. All right. And so there we go. I filleted those to 1.5. I'm going to put a new sketch on this face, press home. I'm going to touch this so I get that center point, lock it in place to that center point. And this is only going to be a diameter of 1. Again, right here, grab the same center point, diameter of 1. And this one is perfectly parallel to this. I have another one. See how I have these little trailing dots here? All right. This has 1. Now, what we don't know is the distance from this edge, so we have to measure that. And since it's the same all the way around, I know then that this and this has got to be 1.5. Right? So that way it's the same distance from the edge all the way around, even though there's no fillet here. All right, there's only one last thing to do. Fill out the sketch, extrude. Well, you know what? I'll show you something else before we even do that. I want to put a new sketch here. Home. I'm going to put a hole in this again. Touch the edge. Now I can see the center point. It locks it in place, and this one has a diameter of 2. Finish my sketch. Now when I extrude, I can select all of these holes at once. Or it's not going to let me. All right. It's going to make a liar out of me because they're in different directions. Sometimes you let me. Okay, there we go. It'll let you grab multiple holes at once, but it just mad at me because they were all on different. Even though I was cutting to next, it should actually let me cut through. But okay, it didn't like me today. That's all right. I thought I could do that. Maybe not. All right, so here we go. We have the same sort of setup for our next one, so go ahead and save that one. All right, so hopefully you go through and save that. New part. All right, here we go. This one we're going to have 8 tab 1 enter home. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to extrude this one, finish the sketch, hit the home key so I can see everything looks good. I'm going to extrude this, and this is a distance of 5. Hit home so I can see everything. And I'm going to put a new sketch here. And I'm just going to grab my 2-point rectangle. Start here, somewhere where I think this looks good. And I'm going to start pulling this out. This is going to be 4 tab 2 enter. And you can see I'm going to make a tower come straight up from here as well. Again, same thing. And so then I'm going to come over here, make sure that it's even. So if this is 4, then hit escape here. It's not. Touchpad, sorry guys. Then this one needs to be 2 because 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 4 is 8. Yeah, now we're all centered. Okay, so there we go there. And I'm going to extrude this profile up. Okay, I'm extruding that profile up 9. That one was kind of hard to count, so you're going to have to kind of work on that one to kind of see what that one is. Or maybe it's 8. It's either 8 or 9. Let's see, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, yeah, 9. It looks like 9 to me. And I'm going to start messing with some geometry here. I'm going to round everything off again. So fillets, again, using that same trick anyway, just 2. All right, so I'm going to, oh look, I can even grab lines from behind them. Round all that off. All right, and I just finished off that geometry there, which is nice. Then I'm going to come up here. All right, once I come up here and hit home so I can see, I have a new sketch. I'm going to put a circle. Again, find the center point. And now it's going to be set to 4, so it's the same size. I'm just going to finish this sketch. All right, I'm going to extrude. And I'm going to extrude that one too. I'm going to hit enter. And you see how it just kind of extends this one outward, which is what we're looking for, what we're looking to do. Then I just need to put a hole here with a new sketch, hit the home key so I can see, grab a circle, touch the outside edge so I can see the center point of that circle. And that circle has a diameter of 2. Now we can extrude, cut to next. Okay. Extrude, cut to next. Okay. And now I'm going to fillet these again. All right, and these again down here, just like the last ones we did, were 1.5. So fillet, and you can see how we're bounding all of our sketches and all of our geometry to other geometry. All right, we're not actually using, but look, right now this thing is in our way and we don't know what we're looking at. So there's the F7 key on your keyboard to slice graphics. All right, so that'll slice down to that one level, so that way you can just look at what you're looking at right here. So we're just going to grab 2 circles. Again, touch this so I can find the center point, which is right where it needs to be, just right here. 1. Touch here so I find the center point so I don't have to worry about measuring. 1. Now I can finish my sketch. There we go. And now I can see everything again. And go ahead, extrude, cut to next. Okay, there we go. All right, so you can see how we used this, and so hopefully that was helpful. So we used a lot of fillets for our geometry, and so we didn't actually need to go in and use all of the dimensioning constraints. So they're just using geometric constraints, that is. So hopefully this was helpful, and I will see you next time.